All right, what's up, YouTube? This is Emmett. I am the tech guru for the Shaw Family channel, and today we will be doing an unboxing with the ultimate vlog setup. So let's get ready to go. Let's dive right in. Here we go. So the main thing with the Shaw Family channel, we had a lot of choices to choose between the cameras. For those of you all who are not that savvy with technology, there's different choices for cameras that you can buy when you are a content creator or someone who's aspiring to have a YouTube channel. At a bare minimum, we felt as a channel that we wanted to have a camera that gave us good quality inside or outside, something that had bare minimum as far as setting up, where we could take it out, set it up in a minimum amount of time, and anyone could cut it on and pretty much start and stop recording without having to worry about what the settings were, which or your ISO or your aperture or your shutter speed or any of those things that we're not going to get into today. And so after doing our research, we decided on the Sony A7 III. Yes, we got it. And we also decided for the lens, we went with the Sigma 16mm 1.4, which, since we do a lot of cinematography or videography, this is a lens that we felt just starting out, which obviously is not going to do everything that we can do, but for us starting out, the lens, there's a lens that comes with the camera, and this would be a great complement, which would give us a little bit more variety in our filming. And then we also have one more gadget that we're going to throw in the bag that I felt is really going to help us be productive, that we'll mention as we unbox. So let's get right into the unboxing of the Sony A7 III. So it's important, keep all your brochures and pamphlets inside the box, because the one thing about cameras is they do, the camera itself, if you do buy a mirrorless or DSLR camera, the camera itself will have new technology that comes out. It's just evident. Every year, every other year, a newer model will come out, but your lenses will remain pretty much a good value for you, because you can take those and use those with the newer cameras. So you may end up having to sell this body, which they call just the camera by itself is the body. You may have to sell the body, so keep those books in there and those things, and then you won't lose them. All right, let's get right in there. So we also have the strap for it, Sony A7 III. What else we got in here? We've got, looks like a charging cord. We've got an adapter for the charging cord. And battery. And that's one of the other things that was really important. This has a really good rating for the battery life, being able to film for a long amount of time. So that was another major feature that we used when we considered this camera. Alright, what else we got? Alright, we've got the lens cover right there. And this is the lens that came with the camera. Sony. So this is a 28 to 70 millimeter zoom lens, which will allow us to record. It will allow us to record doing our videos at the 28 millimeter range, or if we need to zoom in, or if we're shooting from a distance, that it'll allow us to go. if you can see that. Zoom out to 70 millimeters. And then starting out for us, that'll be perfectly fine. You know, when you're shooting sports, football games, basketball games, you'll get more into a 70 and above, 70 to 200 or 55 to 250 is another lens that is really popular when you get into the longer range of recording. All right, we'll set that right there. Put all this back in there. I don't want to lose any of that. And then last but not least, we have the camera. Oh yeah. Which I'll probably take those off. But there it is, the Sony A7 III. All right, let's pack that up. And we'll leave everything except for these manuals out. Let's pack this up, close this up, and get this out of the way. All right, now let's look at this lens, the Sigma 16mm f 1.4. So the 1.4 is important because that's something that's going to complement the specs of the Sony A7 III for low light. When I say low light, you know, that's one of the biggest problems or the biggest obstacles photographers have is dealing with light adjustment. And you want to, you know, it made a lot of sense for us to be able to have a camera where we didn't have to use a whole bunch of lights all the time. So the 1.4 on the 16mm, we're hoping sometimes that we might be able to just open the blinds and get a good recording. And that's what we're hoping for. So we'll, you know, in the future when you see our videos, this is one of the lenses that we'll use. So this is the Sigma. And that flips around like that. 16mm. And that's a good looking thing. It's not real heavy. It's not a real heavy lens, but again, something that a lot of people have sworn by. It's something that for people like us who primarily are going to do videos, not so much still photography, which is still as good for still photography. This made a lot of sense. All right, so now we've got the camera. We've got a really good lens to complement the lens that came with the camera. And the creme de la creme was this remote. The Sony RMT DSLR2. And this is going to allow us to control the camera remotely without having to use a phone, without having to use an app, to start and stop, make adjustments. You know, it goes on and on, but it's inexpensive. It was, I believe, $25 or $30 for this remote. I'll hold it in the camera right there for you. The Sony RMT DSLR2 right there. So let's open this baby up. And that's what it looks like. So something like that, that's going to be easy to put in your pocket. It's got a start, stop, shutter button, display. Look at that. So I'm really thinking this will be the game changer. You know, the main thing is the equipment that we decided to go ahead and get to help our channel, which we're calling, you know, our vlog setup. It, again, was being able to record low light, still having that crispy image. Crispy, you know. My wife is real big on, she likes to have good light balance, good exposure, not having a situation where, you know, if the light's off, then going through a whole bunch of time making a recording, and then somehow you get back to do your editing, and then you're not happy with the end result, which a lot of things that we do, which are pranks or reactions, you know, it's not scripted. None of this stuff is scripted. So when you record it the first time, you want it to be right. And that I think was one of the biggest things that helped us in our decision with choosing this. The other thing too was Sony, compared to other models, also with their lenses, like the mirrorless. I mentioned mirrorless versus a DSLR type camera. Well, with Sony, the mirrorless lens works on also the DSLR cameras, whereas some of the other brands, like say Canon, you have, you know, your mirrorless cameras has a R type lens, which those lenses with an adapter can work with the other cameras. And again, it's going to be compensations. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's no difference, but this lens could work on a APS-C camera down the line if we decide to go that route. Or if there's another full frame mirrorless, we can use this on that camera. So Sony's lenses being future proof was another reason why we chose on the Sony A7 III. The last thing too, if you look at this, you know, we tried the Canon 90D for about a week because we had a older Canon camera which we sold, and all the lenses and stuff for it. And the DSLR type, like the 90D, it was heavy. It was a way bigger, you know, in my hand, it was substantial. And then with the lens on it, you have to imagine once you put the lens on it, trying to record videos, and then as well having my kids or my daughter or my wife using the camera, you know, this just feels good. It's not too heavy. And then with the lens, and it's mirrorless, it's just a good size. It's compact, it's portable. That was the last feature that appealed to us. You know, it had checked all the boxes, and then on top of that, it was smaller. It was kind of like a no-brainer. So let's go ahead and put the lens on the camera so we can see what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and put the Sony on first, or the Sigma, I'm sorry. I'm going to put that Sigma on. Hear that click. And look at that. And there we go. We ready. All right, thanks for tuning in. That's all for our unboxing of the Sony A7 III. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please stay tuned. We have bigger and better things in store now that we have the new Sony A7 III as our main camera to record with. If you have any comments or questions about like what our feelings are after using it for a while, please comment below. And thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Thanks.